In operations, most of us were raised on the tactical side of the business, the reactionary, the get order, fill order, the do what it takes to get something to the customer, that hero mentality. That's great, but not profitable. So we really, in operations, need to begin to transition our thinking from we'll do whatever it takes to let's figure out what it's going to take to do this repeatedly and reliably and be profitable while we do it. So we really need to begin to focus on strategy. Now, strategy is a word that everyone knows. Sometimes we tend to take it as criticism if we say we're not strategic thinkers, but it's not intended that way. We need to take these loose concepts, these loose ideas of how we're going to react, and begin to plan better and begin to organize that into coherent thinking and consistency. So let's take the example of putting a distribution center someplace. You can either say, hey, we've got a bunch of sales going on over in Europe, let's put one in Germany. Or you can, before that starts to happen, as your business begins to emphasize international growth, you can begin to think about, do we want to supply that market from the United States? If we want to supply it from somewhere in Europe, what are the transportation considerations? What are the legal and labor considerations? Do we want to finish product there? Or do we want to ship finished product there, house it, and then distribute it? And those shouldn't be case-by-case decisions. And that's how we in operations tend to do things, is case-by-case, where a strategy is really defining some guidelines. How do we want to think about this so that in the future, those case-by-case decisions are made within the context of a strategy. I've got a client that recently has gone through some tremendous growth, and I've been able to help them make that transition out of desperation, if nothing else. 3 years ago, they were very tactical thinkers. They were doing quite well, and they just wanted to make sure they could do better. Growth struck, and that's not a bad problem to have. But we had to really begin to think more strategically, and we were able to do that. And they saw the dramatic impact the development of an operation strategy had on the decision-making of the day-to-day operators. Everyone's impacted. We need to have a clear strategy, and then we can ask people to make good decisions.